Taming the Demon by Amilovskira. Chapter 34. To Undead. This was not happening. This was not happening. Demon was going to break Gao's neck, was going to march over there and shatter his spine. No, that's not allowed. But it's Yoichi! Yoichi is hurt and down, and something must be done about this. A demon was going to do it. They didn't break any rules. That's just how the game is played. Gao was just following orders. Fine then. Maruko is leader. Maruko ordered the tackle. Maruko sat back and smiled as the only man worthy of our heart had to get carted off the field on a gurney. Maruko is going to die. Right now. That would only cause trouble for the team. Trouble for Hiruma-san. The game is still going on. Then what are we supposed to do? Hold the team together. Sena came back to himself to find tears on his face. He was pretty sure he was arguing with someone just now, but he couldn't really remember and had more important things to think about anyway. Hiruma-san used what little strength he had left to kick Karita out of his despair, and everyone was trying to decide who was qualified to be substitute quarterback. Taki, and Manta couldn't throw. Yukimitsu-san didn't have the stamina. Most of the linemen never handled the ball. Ishimaru-san didn't know half the rules. Musashi-san wanted to take the role based purely on how dangerous it was going to be against Gao. He wanted to take responsibility for starting the football team with Hiruma-san and Karita-san. But this wasn't about the three of them anymore. We'll do it. We'll take Yoruichi's place. We're the only one who can. Sena claimed the title of quarterback for himself, and then wondered when he started thinking of Hiruma-san as Yoichi. This thought distracted him, and he fumbled the first snap. Real smooth. Well, it's fine anyway. Sena grabbed it back. And Karita-san was being knocked flat over. He wasn't getting back up very fast either. Sena was defenseless. A voice in his head was screaming, "Move your skinny butt!" But he wasn't listening, distracted as he was by Ogawa's hand nearly making contact with his ribcage. Komusubi-kun saved him from having his sternum crushed, but he knew he had bruises under his jersey. No question. Komusubi-kun also barely lasted a second against Gao, but his sacrifice allowed Sena to take the ball and run out of bounds. Damon retained possession of the ball, but they had another more pressing problem. Komusubi-kun had approached Kurita to reassure him, speaking as usual in the language of powerful men. Kurita-san didn't understand. That's a huge problem right there. Sena already knew that. Thank you, voice. Thankfully, it shut up in time for the following plays. Not that the quiet helped. Sena wasn't tall enough to see past the lineman to find a target, let alone throw to one. Karita-san was made of papier-mâché for how easily Gao was getting past him. Hakushu scored another touchdown. Komusubi-kun was doing his best, but he was taking a beating, and he needed his master to please stand up. It was a show of how desperate he was that he spoke in a full sentence so that Karita could understand. The next play failed too. I can't take this anymore. We need to shake things up to take back the momentum. Do something Yoichi would do. Something Hiruma-san would do? But Hiruma-san always did the opposite of what you'd expect him to do. That was the whole point. Oh. It's impossible to break through the center in this situation, right? So let's do that. Sena and Komusubi-kun in a super low devil bat dive. That would work. Unless, it didn't work. The teams lined up and the two tiny players rushed. This wasn't going to work. This wasn't going to work. And that's it. We're dead. Shut up, idiot. The cavalry's here. Sure enough, whatever funk Karita-san had sunk into since Hiruma-san was taken out had shattered. Karita-san was going to stop. Go. Karita-san was stopping. Go. So let's take this opportunity and run with it, shall we? And run. Sena did. He managed a first down by the time Marco-kun tackled him. Komusubi-kun was crying with relief at his master's recovery. The plays started moving in Damon's favor again. Karita-san and Gao were still pretty evenly matched, but now that Karita-san was managing to stop Gao in his tracks, breaking through the center was now a much more viable option than the sudden death march it was last time. It was exactly that play that Sena was lining up for when he noticed that the Hakushu dinosaurs seemed a lot more focused on defending the center. Then he blinked because the dinosaurs were still spread out to cover the sides. And yet something about their formation seemed strange. It's not their formation now that's strange. It was their formation before. If you look at it now, it's pretty typical. Before, it was just Gao in the center and everybody else up the sides. But since Gao is struggling with Kurita, they've moved to back him up, which means the sides are much more vulnerable. We can use our own weapon this time. Our legs. Sena tore up the left side with the ball. The voice was right, very vulnerable. But there was Marco-kun, and he was gonna screw the ball away. Then throw it! For God's sake, you're the quarterback! Sena's toss was so sloppy, it was practically a fluke that Manta caught it. Shut up, Manta can catch anything as long as it's in his general vicinity. But a success was a success, and the team all praised him on his incredibly unpredictable, messy, confusing, weird pass. We sure that's praise? Well, whatever. Sena knew his passes were terrible. Little control, strange rotation, no range. But he wasn't Hiruma-san, and he didn't have Hiruma-san's intelligence or experience. His only choice was to use the tools he had to his advantage. Yoichi chose us for our agility. Let's show him what we can do with it. Damon scored a touchdown to finish the first half, and Sena never even got sacked once by anybody. As if they could catch us. Kurita-san nearly broke the brunette's neck with that hug, though. As the team huddled around the bench for halftime, the words hung unspoken in the air. We won't visit Hiruma-san. He's resting, and he'd be upset if we wasted our energy worrying about him. The second play began in the same fashion that the first ended. Kurita-san and Go were in a stalemate. Sena knocked the ball out of the Hakushu runner's hands, and when Marco-kun picked it up, he was gang-tackled by Kobusumi-kun, Manta-taki, Sena, and Kuroki-kun. For the first time, Damon had stopped Hakushu's as-of-yet undefeated North-South game. That's when the trouble started. If I didn't know better, I'd think Maruko was getting upset that we were only losing by 18 points. Hakushu put a kick in the goalposts, widening the gap to 21 points, and Marco-kun started marking Sena very tightly. There was an aggravated gleam in his eyes that reminded Sena of the way some of his childhood bullies would look at him when he didn't immediately do what they wanted. His fates didn't work on Marco-kun. And hold your shit together! Now Kisaragi was back to interfere with Manta. Stop losing it! Because Sena was a terrible quarterback. Calm down! And Sena couldn't do this. Shrimp! What are you idiots doing? Straighten up! You look like you're about to shit yourselves in the middle of the field! It was a knee-jerk reaction on Sena's part to shriek a denial before he even recognized the voice. Told you to calm down. Our hero from hell has returned. But that's impossible. Hiruma-san was... Sena turned to see him, could only believe that the blonde was back if he saw it for himself. His eyes didn't disappoint. Our Yoichi